Hello and welcome back to the 12 Days of Christmas. My name is Joanna Daniel. If this is your first time on this page, on this channel, I am founder of Wounds to Scars, and we work with adult survivors of childhood trauma and women who experience abuse. This is a very special 12 Days of Christmas, and I'm really excited that you're here. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to like the video, and to share it with those who you know might benefit. So today I have a really special guest. It's my sister, and she does an amazing job, and I'm going to get her to come and talk to us about some of that. We're going to touch on different themes that I know might be important in your own life, parenting, and how we deal with worry and trusting, and this journey that she's on, and how she managed to manage those competing things in her life. So I'm going to let Tamara introduce herself. Tell us about yourself a little, Tam.
Hi everyone. Okay. I am Tamara Lawrence, and I like to say Tamara V Lawrence because there's this actress called Tamara Lawrence, and I don't want to be confused with her. She's Jamaican as well, just like me, and I love it. Yeah, I'm Tamara V Lawrence, and I have been a missionary for the last 10 years. This January will be 10 years, but just before that, I got married. 2 years before that. And I have been a mom for the last 7 years, 6, 7 years. And altogether, I have four adopted children, but I have seven altogether that I, I am mother or grandma, for. So it is kind of like a really crazy life. The last 10 years, I think we've been to about 16 or 17 countries on three continents. So it's quite heavy. It's a lot.
You
Um,
you
and I
keep
have
adding
people
to
asking, are you crazy? But
Tam,
but here am I.
you keep adding to the number of nieces that I get to have, because but you remember when you wanted to have 8 children? Remember when you were looking after the twins and you wanted 8 children? You remember that? So
I can't remember that.
you wanted 8, so you're nearly there. You're nearly there. You have
Are
seven.
you
You have
serious?
seven that you're in and that you look after.
You know, all I ever remember was not wanting to have children. That's the part I remember, oh, I never wanted to have children. I never remembered the wanting eight. There are those rare times, rare moments that I remember wanting to own an orphanage and all the kids would be mine. Rare
Yeah.
moments that I remember that. Yes.
You wanted 8. Well, here you
But
go.
yeah.
7. So I have one more to
Hmm.
look forward to, which is a nephew or a niece or whatever.
Uh, maybe another grandchild, you know, to be grand niece.
I'm too young to be a grandpa, right? Okay. So I
Oh,
wanted you to
yeah.
come up because we deal with trauma, and we're giving people tips to cope over this period. And there's a group of people that I sometimes don't talk to, and it's the parent that is parenting a child that is traumatized, and they may not have experienced
Hmm.
the same type of trauma, um, but they're parenting, and it might be a challenge and a struggle. And I wanted you to come on because I know that you're parenting 4 precious babies that have experienced different types of injuries in their little lives.
Yeah.
Tell me some of the ways that you do that. How do you resource yourself to be able to meet that challenge?
Huh. Resource myself. Thank God for Google, and for professional aunties or sisters like yourself and good friends. Um, it took me years to realize that I'm not an island. Tam, you cannot do it all by yourself. You can't just read a book and all your answers are there. It took me years to understand that I need to open my mouth and I need to talk, because there are people who they don't have all the answers, but they can just in their very own ways let you know you'll be okay, or I've been through that, or I know somebody who's been through, like, to it took me years to find a community, or to accept that there's a community out there and I can speak to somebody. So I talk. I talk to people. I start trusting people, um, to share. And of course, you share different layers and different levels, depending
Yeah.
who the person is. But I talk. That's what I do.
You talk, you share, you
Yeah.
trust, you said. So that
Yes.
there, it
Yes.
sounds like there's a growth process that had to happen in you in order for you to be able to have what you
Yes.
need to help.
Absolutely. And that's why my ministry, like, it's called Marriage Ministry Motherhood, because I felt like who I am today, it's because of my marriage and all that I had to learn and how I had to grow in my marriage. And then the Lord bring me to ministry and all that I needed to be in ministry, and then motherhood.
Mm,
So it's marriage, ministry, motherhood, because the, those were the three that the Lord used to make me the woman I am today. I can say confident, strong, bold, all of that, because of that process over the last 12
yeah,
years.
yeah. It's been an it's been amazing watching the journey happen. It has. So you have four children. What are the ages?
17, 14, 7, and one that will be 1 in 2 weeks. So 17, 14, 7, and 1.
So you have a full house of little
Yes.
people, not so little people, children at different ages. How do you manage the different needs?
Oh, wow. It's one of those things that you don't even know. It's, I honestly, one thing I know in dealing with these children, and with each one, I learn a bit more, and I grow a bit more, and I improve on how I parent with each child that comes into my home. Um, but I treat these children as if I birthed them. So I don't
Mm,
the walking on eggshells, because boy, they're not your kids, and just in case. And but I know when each one comes, there's some, adapting that needs to happen.
mm,
But
mm.
once I get settled in and I understand the personality of that child and the character of that child, the moment I understand that, then I start parenting that child the way that I I parent them in the way that I want to see them in the future.
Ah, yeah.
So that's how I deal with it, the way I want to see them in the future. Like my
Mm,
14-year-old right now having teenage mood swings like a roller coaster. I step back when she's doing that. But if she is going too far, then I, really step in and do the that's not going to work, and stuff. And but yeah, I just parent
mm.
them the way I want to see them in the future.
That's amazing because they're people, aren't they? They're gonna be adults in the future. And there's so many people here that have injuries because they weren't parented in homes where they were considered like that they were going to grow up and they were going to become adults that were going to be able to make choices and stuff like that. So it's really good that you're parenting them in how you want to see them in the future, and you're treating them based on that.
Yep, exactly.
It's so funny you mentioned the mood swings of the 14-year-old because your niece said she never had any. She
Oh,
never had, yeah, she said she
that's
never
not the
had
one
any.
I know. I don't know her, do I? I don't know her.
That was so funny. I just wanted to say that. So how do you do self-care? Because sometimes as mothers we struggle with self-care. It's the holiday time, children are at home. You are a missionary teacher. but now everybody's at home because schools are on holiday. So how do you do self-care when you're looking after self for children needs, having to know, study them, knowing they're triggered, how to manage their triggers and still make time for yourself? How do you do that?
It's hard. Why? Because you don't realize how much the children are watching you.
Mm,
And as much as we might think that, oh, I care for them, they care for me too. As parents, we don't realize how much our kids care for us.
yeah.
And if I go away, I remember once I went outside and I didn't turn the light on. I just stayed out there. 2 minutes later, somebody's knocking. The light is off. I know, I left it off. It's okay. Then another one comes. Would you like me to get you some water? And they're constantly. So you're trying to escape, but here they are, can't even watch the thing that they've asked so long to watch because now they're worried about you. So
Yeah.
it is where I'll tell them, I need some alone time. They don't really give, they're always knocking and asking about it or something, but they're coming to check on you, really. But I thank God, self care is not super hard for me because God has given me a husband. I could not ask for a better husband to take this journey with these children. You know, when he comes home, he's super dad, and he plays and he flips the younger ones, and he does that so I can go in and lock myself and watch something silly,
Mm,
or write or do whatever it is that I want. The tag team really helps.
it does help. That's good. The fun, not the final question, second to last question. Tell me about attachment and the journey to build and secure attachment with children. And I know you've known the children that you have, the older two, you've known them for a long time. You've been in their lives for many years. The younger ones not so much. The youngest, he will know you and only you, bless him. And the middle one, not the age and the stage when she came to you was very different. So tell me about the journey to, how do you make yourself a secure place to build secure attachment with children who are coming with different levels of trauma?
Huh. You know, I think of that. And let me start with the baby.
Mm,
Um, he's turning 1. He came to me in August, but he came with his mom.
mm-hmm.
And she is still here. She calls me mommy as well, which is kind of, but she's here. And I went through the plate. I went, through the phase of, is this child gonna know me as mommy, or is the child gonna know this lady who breastfeeds him? And you would think that, but if you give this child something and say, take it to mommy, it's coming to me.
Mm,
He
mm,
cries for me. He
mm,
does, all those things, even though she's the one, who nurses him. But what I notice is the way I treat him, the way I talk with him. I ensure that I put him to bed each night, and I speak with him gently, and I give him kisses and
mm,
he looks at me. So it's like, it's the moments that you spend with them, those special moments that
mm-hmm,
nobody else,
mm,
that nobody else gives them, that
yeah,
nobody else, the things you say to them, the way you treat them in a way that nobody else does.
yeah,
It binds that child's heart to yours.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
And they know that there's something special, there's something different about this female and I, because my husband's the only male, so he has no problem knowing who Dada is. But who is mommy when there's so many female around and they all love on him and stuff? So I had to give him, or have to keep giving him, these moments so he knows when he falls, mommy gets him, or if somebody else pick him up, they take him to mommy,
right,
you know, so he knows who mommy is. So
right,
it's those things, and it's what I had to do with all the children. The bigger one, she came At 10, she already knew who her mother was. She already knew all those things. So I then had to, the same way, mommy, mommy loves you, mom. And the things I had to do with her, those special moments, brushing her hair, talking with her, connecting
Mm,
with
mm,
her, finding
mhm.
her love language and loving her that way. So
Yeah,
then you find that you do things that nobody else
yeah,
will do. You reach them in a place that nobody else can
yeah,
or
yeah.
has ever done.
Yes. Fill in all those places, fill in all those hurt
Yes,
places with love. And that's what secure attachment is,
absolutely.
isn't it? It's
Yes,
loving, it's tender touch, it's care, it's gentle voice, it's all of those amazing things that you're pouring
yeah,
into them, and it's reciprocated in the connection that you're forming with them.
yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. I want to ask you one last question, because I just, as you were talking, I'm thinking, I'm taking it for granted because I know, and people might be wondering, what sent you to be a missionary? I mean, you trained as a journalist, you work a little for a time, you've done different work. What made you give all that up to go be a missionary? Because I always say to people when they're going as a missionary, I said, don't go for one, because my sister went for 1 year, she's not returned. So what made you, what made you give up that and go as a missionary?
You know what? I felt like God really did amazing things for me when I was at college and university. And I wanted to give him some time to say thank you, because towards my final year of university, there was lots of talk about going into mission and stuff. And I thought, oh, well, sounds good. I'd like to try it for a little bit, and it didn't happen when I wanted to. But
Mm,
then when I got married and my marriage started off so rocky, so tough, so many differences that we had to build, then I'm like, I want to try it again. I want to go try mission, for a little while and just to go do something that I wanted to do before I got married. And God opened the door and we went to spend 1 year just to
mhm,
go give of ourselves and take our eyes off each other and our mind, where we're so saturated and see if in doing something good for others, just what it would do for us. And we did. And but I fell in love with the children, at the school and their stories and their journey. And I realized that I could not leave them. And that's why I ended up staying for so long. At first it was about I need to be here for these children because I have something to give that they're not getting from home or from their village or whatever it is. And we spent another year and we realized how much it was doing for us, you know, and how much God was a way better boss than any other boss we've ever had. So we liked her boss and we decided we wanted to stay with that boss. So yeah.
mhm. You liked your boss and stayed with him, and he's
Yeah, we
faithful.
stayed with that boss. He was the best and we didn't want any others.
Where can people find and learn more about you?
Um, I have a developing website, it's developing. Um, missionaryforlife.org, missionaryforlife.org, and Facebook, same thing, or mission page, missionary for life /MFL, Instagram, marriage, ministry, motherhood. So those are three places that I try to get things out there. So missionaryforlife.org, um, marriage, ministry, motherhood, and Facebook, Missionary for Life, or my regular Facebook page, Tamara V Lawrence.
Thank you. I'm going to put all those links beneath in the description of the video. So if you'd like to learn more about the ministry, about what they do with the children, then you can follow her on those pages. Thank you so much for joining us in this 12th day of Christmas, and we hope that you'll join us tomorrow.